because it'll actually hit the crank, cause windage, and it can actually destroy the motor.
Oh.
Some things don't matter, some things do.
Okay. Check that box. All right, hey, what's going on, everybody? Amber had to work today. She's down to, anyways, Amber's my wife. She works full-time as well. She's down to 2 days a week working, going to the office, and 3 days a week at the house. And so that means I'm on kid duty because schools are out in Oklahoma and babysitters are locking their doors and all that good stuff. So 2 days this week I've got the kids. This is one of them. So I brought them up here to the barn with me. They're in there watching my YouTube channel because they just can't get enough of it. They just think that it's the greatest thing ever. They're watching YouTube Kids. They don't want to watch my channel unless they're on it, which I don't really blame them because they're 4 and 6 years old. So today I'm up here. I'm gonna shoot a couple of different videos. This first video is, we have our diesel mechanic here. He is servicing Boomer, which is our Komatsu PC200 excavator. We just bought it about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Just got it a couple weeks ago. And haven't serviced it yet. You've seen me using it some, but it still we haven't serviced it. So we want to service it and start from new and see how it's going. He put the track on in about 2 seconds. I can show you what he did there to fix that. Now I know how to do it moving forward. But he's also going to be changing out the window glass that you saw me break a couple videos ago. He's changing all the filters, all the oil, the fluids, all that kind of stuff, getting this thing running into tip-top shape. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the track now back on alignment. He's poured through it, and I'm going to show you the track back on alignment, and then I'm going to set up the GoPro and let you watch him kind of do his thing, to include changing out that glass. So let's go look at the track real quick. So here you have it. The track is back on alignment. Really all he had to do was he took the bucket and he swung it over here and set the bucket down and lifted himself up, lifted this up, which took all the pressure obviously off the track and let it hang down some. And then he engaged the track, and once he engaged the track, it fell right back into alignment with everything it needed to do. So that was a minor track throw and something that we need to know moving forward so we can just fix it while we're here. There is complete track throwing and things like that, but that wasn't the case here, and hopefully we don't ever experience that. We've done some research and we realized that these machines use grease to actually tighten these tracks, to put tension in the track by filling it up with grease. But he said you actually don't want to do that too much because it puts too much stress on the track, and that's a bad thing. So he's over there working on the door, I think, and here's one of the filters already out of this sucker. Not that dirty actually, but he is going to change some fluids and get that stuff going. So I'm going to go set up the GoPro now and let you just watch him do his thing. Yeah.
They got it right here, easy to access.
Oh yeah, that is nice. Fuel filter and oil filter.
So we got them right here.
What other filters on this thing?
You got your 2 air filters, and there should be a second fuel filter. It's probably up on the engine.
The one you took out earlier that was sitting right over there, what was that?
That was your air filters. You had an inner and outer.
Oh, okay. Was that decently clean? It looked decently clean.
It wasn't terribly dirty. It looked like it got smoke in it though. It was blackened a little bit, and that'll restrict the flow a lot.
Oh, okay.
So.
Wow, that's black, huh?
Yeah, that's what you normally would see.
So 1.5 will carry it.
Yeah.
We'll hold it all.
Yeah, it should be. Usually they're about 4 to 5 gallons.
And then what do you do with all that?
Burn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the proper way to dispose of oil? I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just asking.
I don't know. I mean, that's we have an actual oil burner. So.
Oh,
I mean,
well, there you go. Yeah, probably.
It's approved by the EPA, so I guess it's the right way.
Yeah.
Because can't think of any other way to get rid of it other than sell it.
Yeah. Will people buy it?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We bought another company that used to do that. Used to recycle used oil.
So where do you fill the oil at?
Up on top.
Up on top.
And the gas struts are bad on that hood, so you have to hold it up. I'll wedge a stick up there or something, but it needs new gas struts on that.
Oh.
So when you go to check the oil and stuff, you have to hold the thing up.
Oh.
It's supposed to hold itself up. It's not.
Yeah. We got plenty of sticks.
Yeah. Get a little broom handle and throw in there.
Okay, so here's all our filters. That's the, which one's this one?
I think that's one of the fuel filters. That's the other fuel filter.
Fuel filter.
This should be the oil filter.
Oil filter.
Yeah.
Oil filter.
Yep.
Fuel filter. And then there's one more fuel filter up top. So I just got a good education on what's up top, so I'm going to take you up there and show it to you. Starting here, this is the batteries for this bad boy. Great big batteries. Sorry about the noise. Moving on up, this is fuel. It takes the key that starts the whole unit itself, and you can lock this cap so nobody can tamper with it. Right here is hydraulic. That's to access the hydraulic fluid reservoir, and that's to access the hydraulic filter. Up here, we just did a walk around. You can see there's the other fuel filter right there. We do have a couple of small oil leaks, nothing to be concerned about with a unit this old. And he recommended probably replacing the fuel line. Coming right here off the filter, and it's going to snake down through there to the other filter, and then it's going to eventually end up at our reservoir right there. So other than that, that's all we found so far. He's getting ready to pop off these hydraulic plates, and I think I'll set the camera up where you can see that. And he's going to check that filter, and he's going to check the fluid level and all that good stuff. But he said the hydraulic fluid to use for these things is the universal tractor hydraulic fluid. So note to self, universal hydraulic tractor fluid. So all right, I'm going to set this up to where you can get a pretty good view. So there it is right there, premium universal tractor fluid.
Really?
And
what do you get?
And I had F250. Yeah, and I just had diesel just spilling out from underneath the hood. I was like, what the heck? And they're like, well, this hadn't been changed ever.
See, and we do them every service. Every one we do, every single time we change oil, which is way beyond what you're supposed to do. The same with air filters. Like on one of these, we change our air filter every service. You don't have to. If it's clean, you're fine. But it's just cheap. It's not cheap, but it's cheap insurance. It's just, we don't risk it for that.
Yeah. And so I guess you just have a big oil drum at the shop, and you're just using old.
Yeah, that's why they look all
buckets.
nasty.
Yeah.
We don't use Rotella either. We have It's a shell, the Conoco Shell Company. So it meets all the same ratings. We checked that's one of the things we make sure all of our modern equipment it meets all the requirements of their oil, because a lot of factory dealerships will be like, no it doesn't. We looked it all up, had the oil guys go through it, and they said, yeah, it meets all their specifications, and pretty much they said we'll fight for it if they try to say that our oil's not as good.
It's amazing what you got to do to remove liability these days.
Yeah.
And so that's oil. How many liters or gallons?
Should be right about 5 gallons. I'll put 4 in and then we'll check it from there.
That red handle underneath your left hand, is that the oil dipstick?
Yes.
Because I've noticed another dipstick over here. I'm guessing that's hydraulic.
That's for your, it's not hydraulic. Hydraulic is actually just the window over here.
Oh, okay.
That's your gearbox for your rotation. And it's got its own oil in it. And it's just, I think it uses 80-90. But let's see, the other one's probably not a dipstick. It's probably just a filler.
That's a filler, yeah. And then that's the dipstick.
And it's a little overfilled right now, but.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it ain't gonna, shouldn't hurt nothing though.
Yeah.
Being out's more dangerous. It probably leaks. That's probably why it's overfilled.
Mm-hmm. But that's pretty common in something this
yeah,
old.
those things usually do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one that's overlooked a lot of times. At least this one's open there. You can see it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, that's kind of hidden, and you got to take a panel off to get to it, so nobody ever checks them.
This is kind of crazy how these things are built up here. I honestly haven't crawled all the way up here yet. They basically build these to be like a platform to work on these suckers, don't they? With the anti-slip material and
yeah. And
this
most
is essentially a giant.
And the bigger they get, the more they do that. Yeah, the bigger ones have even more of a platform. They actually, some of the really big ones will have a platform that goes around the outside of it. They have a catwalk.
That's cool.
That's how you know you're working on big equipment.
Yeah.
When you got a catwalk around.
Yeah,
it.
when you've got your own aisle.
Yeah.
Here, I'll hand you these so you don't have to move.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, we used to buy it by the gallon, and it got so expensive.
Oh, I'll bet. As much equipment as you guys are running.
So it saved a lot of money. Well, then we bought it by 55-gallon drums, but it doesn't say that much to buy it by 50 gallons. So it wasn't worth the time it took to fill the bottles. But then they got us a 500-gallon tank with a pump on it, and that made it back worthwhile.
So what is the oil of choice? You said you weren't using Rotella. What are you running?
No, it's a Conoco Shell.
Oh, okay.
Can't remember what they actually call it now.
What's the weight?
Ooh. It's the same as this stuff is 1540. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now's the time to buy a bunch of diesel if you got a place to store it.
Yeah.
I filled up last week for $1.56 a gallon.
It's good that it's finally at least diesel moved, because it just wasn't moving for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. What? How long will diesel store before it breaks down?
Years, as far as I know.
Years?
I've seen diesel run that was 15 years old.
Oh man.
I don't know that it actually goes bad. It might lose a little bit of power, a little potency, but it doesn't go bad like gasoline does. It doesn't gel.
So much different than gasoline with the chemical makeup and all that.
Yeah.
You need a rag or something?
No.
Oh, you brought one. Yeah. Are we reading?
Yep, we're open the safe. We just need another, looks like probably half a gallon. Close enough to start it. I'll show you see, it's got a little bit of a milky color.
Yeah.
It's not bad. And you can see there's some water right there even.
So how is water getting in there?
That's actually condensation. It's from moisture being in there.
Oh, okay.
It gets on top of the lid and it runs into that.
Oh.
But usually if you see a bunch of water in there, it's not uncommon to see a little bit, but that means that's probably milky because of condensation over time.
So it should be clear?
Yeah, it should be really close to clear.
Really close to clear. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost kind of an amber clear color.
Okay.
And you're right at the bottom of the safe right now. And to actually check it, you curl the bucket all the way in.
Uh-huh.
You curl the bucket in, arm in, and then all the way down.
Okay.
And then that would actually give you a level, so that would raise it up a little bit. So we're really right at the bottom of safe.
Okay.
So you're not low.
Okay. And you're right now you're lining up that condensation catcher.
Yeah, it's there's a strainer. There's a suction strainer right there.
Uh-huh.
And that's what that stem is. And that's what holds it down.
Oh, okay.
I'll go ahead and just show it to you. I'll take a look at it anyways.
Oh, it's got its own filter too.
Yeah, see, and it could stand to be cleaned off a little bit too. When we do it, we'll clean it off. See, it's got little pieces of rubber and stuff.
Yeah, I see that.
Which that's what you expect to see. Rubber lines decaying on these things. And
yeah.
find a little spot there and it pops back in.
So that has a home down there for sure. It's not just kind of a floating.
No, it goes in that little. There's a little stem sticking up and it slides over top of it.
Okay.
And you don't really ever have to change it. You just take it out and clean it. But you don't want to do that very often. Usually you just do that whenever you're doing oil changes and services on them. But water in your oil will just destroy pumps. If you get too much water, it'll cause it to cavitate. It can blow your hydraulic pump right up.
We don't want that.
No. And if you get too much water in there, it becomes a real nightmare to get out. A little bit will flush out pretty easy, but we had ours just completely turn milky on one of ours, and it took me, I had to change it 3 times.
Wow.
It's expensive.
Mm-hmm. So what you're taking off now is the filter.
The hydraulic filter, yeah.
That's just a tension spring to keep it pushed down.
Yeah, that pushes the bypass down up against the filter. There's the bypass. Spring loaded, that way if it ever became clogged up, it would bypass it. Oh, this one's got a pre-strainer too. That's nice. Never seen that before.
We're just fancy.
These Komatsus are pretty nice.
That looks pretty clean, huh?
So it looks really good. Yeah, so we don't worry about
But
that.
yeah, it is pretty milky.
Yeah. It's definitely seen a lot worse, but we do want to get that out of there.
Okay. Okay, well, let me show you the glass fix. I'm going to do a quick overview, then I got to go because the girls are with me, like I said. But here's the new glass. It's put in, he said, based off of what he had to peel off of there. This was probably about the 3rd time this has been broken out, so that makes me feel a little bit better. He's got tension on it right now. We're going to leave that open as long as we can before it starts raining here, but let that set up as much as it can. We got the oil changed. We checked on the hydraulic pressure, or the hydraulic fluid. It's milky, it needs to be changed. And then the last thing will be the fuel filters. So he's going to change the fuel filters next time he comes back, maybe tomorrow. He'll change the hydraulic fluid. We're going to do a whole flush of the hydraulic fluid because it's milky. So he's going to do that tomorrow. And then he's going to change 2 bad fuel lines. Right now we have a little fuel leak. So that'll be good, getting those changed. And assuming all of that is available and in stock, he might be out here tomorrow because it's fixing to rain and probably shut down their whole operation for anything he would be doing tomorrow anyway. So Lastly, he's going to check the final drive here, and I'll tell you how that all worked out in the next video, the next service video, if I can make it up here with him tomorrow to look at it, or whenever he comes back to change those other lines. So until then, until next time, I hope you found this somewhat different and enjoyable and informative. Not everybody's got an excavator, so I don't know how much you needed to know this information, but at least it's something a little bit different. So until next time, we'll see you up on the ridge.